freedom isn't the result of wealth. It's the foundation. Welcome to Wealth Independence, where freedom leads and real wealth follows through battle-tested strategies, hard-won lessons, and real-world experience. You'll discover how to accelerate your path to true financial independence. And now your hosts, Dustin Bailey and Adam Penn.
All right, welcome back to the Wealth Independence Podcast, where freedom leads and real wealth follows. I'm Dustin Bailey, and I'm here with Adam Penn. Adam, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying.
It's 80 degrees and sunny in California, right?
That's what I was about to say. It's 80 degrees and sunny. Just planted some watermelons in my garden. Actually, I started a lot of things from seed over the weekend.
Nice.
So,
like what?
Cucumbers, peppers, lettuce. Planted the garlic and the potatoes. Right. So this will air a little later. It's late March here in California. Started the watermelon today. Started some flowers by seed. Started, I don't know, just a whole bunch of stuff like that, and then got some more garlic in the ground, broccoli. Yeah, mainly those things. I wonder if I had a list here. I wonder if it's still up. It's I don't want to log in. I just want you to go back. Wow, yeah, I don't think it's important. It's not important.
How physically large of a garden do you have?
Half an acre.
Like that's planted?
So my garden physically planted, well, it's across the entire property. So there's probably a 50 by 50 foot area of garden beds. Then there's like just the yard with all the flowers and the stuff. And then we plant lemon balm and things like that to keep away the mosquitoes. And then there's a field of wheat. So there's a 20 by 15 field of wheat that I grow. There's a melon patch, there's a tomato area, there's a bunch of fruit trees. So there's lemon, lime, mandarin, grapefruit, nectarine, peach, blueberries, raspberries. That's about it.
That's incredible. This sounds like picturesque.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's nice. Lots of flowers. I love snapdragons. We grow a bunch of snapdragons every year from seed. Because it's like a six-pack at the store is like $9 now.
I thought that was a mobile phone processor.
I don't know. No, they're a flower. They're the little ones you squeeze.
Yeah.
And they open their jaws. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, not gardening. Although maybe that's the second podcast we'll start.
This isn't Chris Martinson's Peak Prosperity. Go plant a garden.
Yeah, exactly. No, I thought about this week. I had written about this recently, but I've been reading through, I don't know if you've read the book, Same as Ever from Morgan Housel. He wrote...
No, but you talked about it in your newsletter, and I thought I should. That's the one you talked about, right?
Yes.
I thought I should buy it because I've been needing to read something.
He wrote Psychology of Money a few years ago, and if you have not read either of these, honestly, you need to go buy them right now. They're both fantastic books. But one of the things that there was a chapter that I read, and I mean, it really stuck with me, and it was just that the core idea is that small things compounded over a long time equal extraordinary things. And he gave an example about, I think it's probably a apocryphal story from Howard Marks, but Howard Marks, fairly legendary investor, and apparently Howard would give an example of like an investor who in any given year never ranked in the top 25%, like his performance would never rank in the top 25% of investors. But over a 15-year period, because he was just consistently producing decent returns. They weren't like these extravagant returns, but they were decent. Over 15 years, his track record put him in the top 4% of all investors. And it's a really good visualization that you don't have to go out and swing for the fences in every single thing. And that most usually you're better off not doing that. And obviously there's nothing wrong with, going after some large returns, but you and I talk to investors all the time. And, especially once people get exposed to private investments and they see that, yeah, you can realistically earn 20% on certain things. And, we can talk about the risk associated with that 20%, but, once they see that and they're like, oh, well, this 8% deal, well, no, I'm not interested in that. That's terrible. I can get 20%. But again,
Hopefully.
Go ahead.
I said, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, but you don't. There's obviously different risk profiles with that, and if you can get the 20% consistently, absolutely go for it. But the point is, you probably can't. And I think there was I need to find the exact quote, but you get, oh man, let me find it here. I wrote about this. I should have remembered. I'm sorry. So, this is something from the book. He writes that the intuitive investing question would normally seem to be, what's the best returns I can earn? And I think that's how most people approach any sort of investing, right? Like what can I actually do here? I can do 20%. Okay. So, 25%. Okay. Well, we'll do that instead. But the mathematically correct question, when you factor in the power of compounding, is what are the best returns I can sustain for the longest period of time? Because if you can get, let's call them mediocre, okay returns, right? 8 to 10%. If you can sustain that over a 20-year period, you're going to be way far ahead of somebody that was constantly chasing the 20 to 25% type returns, because you most likely won't have lost as much, maybe not at all, because naturally those things were lower risk. And when you don't lose money, back to Warren Buffett's number one rule of investing, right? When you don't lose money, you don't break compounding. And so then you just get that power of it building year after year. And like humans have such a hard, like all of us, we have such a hard time visualizing and like conceptualizing exponential functions, right? Like we think linearly, the whole like we know, yeah, okay, we get the hockey stick type returns, but it's so hard to like truly internalize that and then put that into an actual, like be disciplined in an actual investing approach. And so I don't know, this really stuck with me that I think, again, so many folks, again, that we talk to, I feel like the focus is in the wrong place. And instead of trying to swing for the fences, like I said, if you just hit the base hits and you can consistently hit base hits, you as an investor are probably going to end up, again, over a longer time period, you're going to end up way better than the dude that's trying to go yard every time he steps up to the plate.
I think, this kind of, I don't want to say hit home for me, but was a very interesting topic for you to write about and for me to read, and especially just around my own investing philosophy, right? And some of the things that I've invested in, and just thinking, what is that more steady return? And I think even outside of not investing in the things that aren't going to lose money, right? The whole sustained returns, but really thinking about it being sustained, right? So the returns being consistent, right? Because if you're like, oh, I only invest in things that are 20% and low risk that I really understand, right? Those will come up, right? I mean, I think we're flipping a house right now that matches that criteria. We got the right price on it. It's the first time in my entire investing career I've ever seen something like that. So what if I just made 0% the entire time until I hit that number, right? There's no compounding there, right? So I think it is weighting the things that you think are valid, but at the same time, getting back to what you're saying, which is just that, don't lose your initial principle. We've had deals go to zero, right? I mean, I've lost money. I was showing you some of the pre-IPO stuff I bought back in the 2020, 21 run-up where everything was crazy high. I was like, these things have really fallen. You're like, yeah, that was like, some of those you purchased were like at the peak of those prices.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I bought Airbnb and it tripled, so I was like, I'll buy some more.
Yeah, how many people were holding on or are still holding on to JPEGs of apes that that they paid a lot of money for, right? Like I think that was maybe it was honestly seeing and kind of experience that has led me or really pushed me to the more cash flow based investing, right? Like if you're constantly chasing those NFT style returns that we were seeing back in 2021 or whatever, like you're going to get burned. You're going to get left holding a JPEG of a bored ape that is worthless, right? And you've lost 99.9% of the original investment. And how, like, yeah, okay, so there was some of those things did great, but like if you lost all that money, where do you stand now? Like that's a super hard loss to come back from. And that's something Adam, you've talked about this before. I think you gave the example on one of the previous episodes about like how much, like if you have an investment, it loses 50%. You've got to earn now 100% on that to just get back to where you were.
Yeah.
And
Versus
so like,
if you have 100, let's say $1 million, and you invest 100 grand, and you lose that 100 grand, you only have to earn 13% on all the other money to get back to where you were. 13 and 100% returns are drastically different.
Yes.
And have drastically different risk profiles.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. So if you're gonna if you want to try to like get all that 100% back in one go, like what's the risk you're taking? You might even lose more, right? And then if you're going to say, well, we'll stick with the more consistent returns,
even at 10%, now you're 7 years to get back there. Compounding.
Exactly. You've now just like added all this runway to, or not runway, but like additional length of time to get to whatever goal you were trying to get to simply because of a loss. Like it's one of those things that I you hear the Warren Buffett rule. Number one rule, don't lose money. Number two is don't ever forget number one. And it's like, okay, that's, we hear that, but it's like when you actually go through one of these events and you lose money and you start to see like, holy cow, like this really set me back. You understand why that becomes such a priority. Like breaking compounding is one of the absolute worst things that can happen as an investor.
I agree.
So I don't know. We don't have to beat this one to death. There have been other nuggets. I'm sure there's some stuff we'll end up.
It's a good lesson to learn earlier. I hear it compounds throughout your career.
What's that?
This lesson, it's a good lesson to learn early on. It compounds during your investing career.
It absolutely, the lesson does, everything compounds. That's actually a different, I think it's either the same part of the chapter or a different part where it talks about that all sorts, everything in life compounds. Relationships, knowledge, all that stuff. Anyway, if you have not read Same as Ever by Morgan Housel,
I just bought it.
You need to go pick it up. Is that what you were doing?
That's what I was doing at the beginning of the episode when I was like looking down at my phone. I bought that book.
Nice. So everybody that's listening should do exactly what Adam just did. Like pause this, go to Amazon.
You don't have to pause it. If Dustin's talking, you can just keep it playing.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what I did.
But anyway, great book. There's going to be some more stuff. I'm cooking up an episode or trying to formulate some thoughts around my thoughts on macroeconomics. I think I've shared my general skepticism of that before, but there were some things that he had to say in some later chapters in the book that I think apply to that. So this will not be the last time that book is referenced on this podcast. So
we should get Elliot. We should get Elliot on this podcast. He's a Morgan Stanley advisor, a really big macro guy, but I think he knows how to distill it down in a meaningful way.
That's what ultimately matters. I think it's not, as long as you can put it in its proper place. That's the thing that I think most people lose sight of, and it tends to take too much of a political. It's a filter for political views, is what it ends up being for most people, as opposed to like meaningful investing advice. And anyway, still formulating that one. That'll be a future episode at some point in time. So keep listening. But I don't know, Adam. Any other parting thoughts on our topic of compounding?
No, I think that'll just make this a brief episode, but if people are enjoying the conversations that we're having and find this useful, please do share it, like the video, subscribe. Those things all seem like the annoying things those people on YouTube and Spotify always ask for, but it turns out that's what the algorithms look for, and if we don't do that, then we don't get followers, and it makes this show harder to keep doing. For sure, and can't help as many people, and share these viewpoints into the world. Also, if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. That helps. Leave a review, leave a comment. We'd very much appreciate that. But yeah, we'll keep this one short and sweet and get on out of here. We appreciate everybody listening. If you want to check out all other episodes, again, if you're on a podcast platform, they're all there. But if you want to see show notes and everything, go to wealthindependencepod.com. Got everything there. Contact info for me and Adam if you want to connect with us. We'd certainly appreciate that. Follow us on social media. But we should have a recommended book section. We probably should add that. That's actually not a bad idea. It happens every once in a while. Good ideas. All right, we'll I'll make a note to add that to the website. That's really good. Thank you, Adam. You're welcome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. And just remember, where freedom leads, real wealth follows. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on Wealth Independence. This show is for informational purposes only and is not financial, investment, legal, or tax advice and does not constitute an offer to buy or sell securities. All investments carry risk, and investors should always conduct thorough due diligence and consult with qualified professionals before investing. Until next time, remember, freedom leads and real wealth follows.